on this week's episode? Well, somebody got fired on their day off. Yep, we'll jump into that. Klay Thompson speaks after leaving Golden State. Um, Argentina trolls Drake, and Kawhi said, "All right, y'all be easy." So we're gonna jump into all of that and more on this week's episode of A Win Is a Win. Let's go. Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. That's right, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. First of all, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast. And don't forget to tell someone to tell somebody else to join. A win is a win. Let's go ahead and get this out the way. Listen, I love when you guys are tuning in. I can see the analytics, but go ahead and hit that subscribe, hit that like button. I know it's a bit of a commitment, not too much. And guess what? I'm not even charging you. That's right. It won't even cost a thing. And while you're at it, hit that notification bell so you get the necessary notifications when a new episode drops. Listen, lots to unpack this week. So let's not waste an ounce of time and jump right into it. Now, just as I suspected, I told y'all last week that somebody was going to get fired, just didn't know it was going to be on their day off. That's right. Yep. Berhalter was fired. Yep. The United States men's soccer coach has been fired after they brought him back last year in June. Hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. Yeah, he just wasn't getting the team where they needed to be. And with the array of boos at Arrowhead, there was no way at all that they even thought about bringing him back. Klay Thompson speaks out after leaving Golden State. First time he has spoken about it since leaving. So let's take a quick listen to what he had to say.
I mean, probably a little disappointed at first, but then as time goes on, you have a lot of time to reflect and you realize what you did. They can't take that away from you as far as the championships records are meant to be broken, but the impact you have on a community and all that, that will forever live. And sometimes, breakups are necessary to do what's right. And I'm not the first athlete in the NBA to go through this. I did grow up in Portland, and I remember when Scottie Pippen came to the Blazers, that was like the biggest day of my life. And I'm not saying I'm Scottie, but they were right there against the Lakers, almost won a chip. So I take a lot of inspiration from past athletes and how their careers might have gone, astray when they either left a team or joined a new team. And
so how do you guys think Klay will fit in with the Mavs, and how do you think he's going to be utilized? I personally think that he's still going to have open looks, more so than he did perhaps in Golden State. You know, we all know how Luka will hold on to the ball, take crazy unnecessary shots, let alone dribble all the air out the basketball before he even thinks about passing it. And that's pretty much he's passing it to Kyrie. So jump in the chat. Let me know exactly what you think about this switch up. Ja Morant has been fully cleared for all basketball activities. The Grizzly star will now have 3 months to gear up for what should be a bounce back season for himself and the team. Interesting enough for me, I always thought since watching this young man play that he was perhaps the future face of the NBA. Him and um, we have Ant now in the conversation and Zion. But do you think that with the return of Ja, has he straightened up his off the court behavior? Has he learned his lesson enough to get back in the game, be serious about it? You got to offload some of, if not all, of the distractions that are outside of the court. Focus on what you are blessed to do and the skill set that you have, which is play basketball. So, coming off of his injury, coming off of all of the nonsense that he went through, that was, in my opinion, completely avoidable. We'll see exactly how he fares when he gets back in on the hardwood for this season. LeBron decides that he wants to speak out now about his contract, and they would ask him if this was his last contract ever. And, you know, a lot of times Bron has a lot to say, and a lot of times Bron has a little to say. But it seems that he wanted to make a point of sorts to let people know that he's not sure if this will be, his last contract or not. And I mean, what can you say? Uh, I'm not entirely sure if LeBron is, how do you say, trolling, or if he is answering the question genuinely, because sometimes he can troll and just give people answers that he knows that they want to hear. But let's take a listen to what he did have to say. Let's get the audio up.
Never sit up there and say, oh, maybe not. Yeah, it could be easily, but we'll see what happens.
And he makes it short and sweet. I mean, is that can be good or bad. But a lot of times LeBron says one thing and does another, or the complete opposite, or he puts his foot in his mouth. But he did sign a 2 1 year deal, a year and a year. So could he be done after this year, after he plays with Bronny for a year, or is he gonna stretch it to perhaps when Bryce is out of school and play with both of his sons? But in the 3 second answer, it could be, it could be not, and we'll see. But here's a question. Let me know what you think. Get down in the chat. When it comes time, because there will come a time when LeBron retires, how do you think his victory lap is going to be? Do you think that he will be received well in most cities? Do you think that he will have a statue uh, erected in Cleveland, which I believe that is the appropriate place for him to have a statue? It shouldn't be in LA. I'm sick and tired of people all over social media, X, Instagram, Twitter. What is the other thing? TikTok, arguing about where his statue should be in Cleveland, Ohio. It was appropriate for Kobe to have his statue there. Very impactful in LA with the Lakers. Not so much with LeBron. So where would you put in your hometown where you had the biggest impact? Now some people are going to say, hold on, Tiff, hold on now. He got chips in Miami and he got the little cartoon one in the bubble. Don't come for me, y'all. That's what I think about it. In LA, he has most of his accolades in LA as a Laker, I get that. So my opinion, I think he needs to have it back in Cleveland. Let me know exactly what it is that you guys think regarding where should his statue be erected. Listen, Kawhi Leonard said y'all be easy to the US Olympic team. Now, he will not play in Paris at all. Um, and it seems to be that it was a mutual um, agreement between the Clippers and the NBA. Given the fact that he gets hurt a lot, quite a lot. I mean, some people may say that he's been a disappointment. I don't think I will go that far, but I don't think he's played to his potential due to injury for sure. Now, the organization and the Clippers determined it is best interest to spend the rest of the summer preparing for the upcoming season. I'm going to segue into this. I'm surprised he was even picked, right? I'm surprised he was even picked. You hopped and skipped over other people, Kyrie, I'm just gonna say that, and put him in there when he's known to be injury prone. So I don't get the pick to begin with. So that's gonna lead me into this. His replacement, which has pissed off some people, and we'll get into why later. But right now, Derek White joins the USA men's Olympic team for the 2024 Paris Olympics. And internet went crazy. Some people obviously felt like, why didn't they pick Kyrie? It was an obvious choice for some people. And then we have another issue of sorts in Jalen Brown, and we'll dig deeper into that in a little bit. Let's take a look at all of the free agency signings since I believe it was June the 3rd. So you got Franz Wagner. He extended 224 million over a 5-year deal. We got, of course, LeBron. He extended $101 million with a um, 2 1-year deals. So that's 2 years. Miles Bridges signed 75 million with a 3-year extension. DeMar Rosen signed 74 million over 3 years. He's going from the Bulls to the Kings. Um, let's see. Caleb Martin signed with the Sixers from the Heat. 32 million 4 years. We have Buddy Hield. Now he's going from the 76ers to Golden State. Now he signed 21 million over a 2-year deal. Simon Fontio, I can never say his name. He's staying with the Pistons, signed against 16 million over 2 years. Dario Saric, he's going from uh, Golden State over to Denver, and he signed 2 years at 11 million. Now Shake Milton is going from the Knicks to the Nets, and he signed 9 million for 3 years. Malik Beasley, he's going from the Bucks to the Pistons, 6 million, and that's over 1 year. And we have Damian Lee, he's staying with the Suns, signed an extension, 3 million over 1 year. PJ Dozier signed, and he will be going to the Timberwolves, 3 million 1-year contract. And from the Wolves, Jordan McLaughlin, and he is going to the Kings for an undisclosed amount of money. Lots of movement in the free agency happening for sure. Not entirely sure what will be coming up with more signings, but for now, those are the top signings that we have so far. Your AI sidekick has arrived. That's right. Turn off the bat signal because Blaze is here to save the day. Blaze is an AI sidekick for overwhelmed teams of one just like you. Brainstorm and outline content ideas with AI. Go from idea to on brand content in minutes. Turn a blog post into 10 plus asset types, ads, social posts, emails, and more. Collaborate with colleagues in real time and get content approved. Go to drT23.site. That is DRT23.site. Navigate to Blaze and download today. Now, we all know, if you don't know, that Drake has a horrible history of betting. And what he did this past weekend was put 300K on Canada to win against Argentina. Now, I jumped in my Discord group and I told them the Heisman polls, all of that. Just Heisman polls, the whole bet. And if you did put money on it, cash it out immediately. Now, as I mentioned, Drake has a history of horrible betting on his stake app, which, nobody even uses at all. Well, like expected, Argentina took the W, and with Messi on the victory photo, the Argentinian Sports X, aka Twitter, account posted "Not like us" trolling Drake with Kendrick Lamar's diss on their photo, ending it with "Not with us." I mean, at this point, it just seems like it's just L's everywhere for BBL Drizzy at this point. All right. Jalen Brown is hot as a firecracker with Nike. Let's get into this. Now, after Derek White was announced as Kawhi Leonard's replacement, um, obviously for Team USA in the Olympics, Jalen Brown has seemingly placed the blame on Nike for him not receiving an invitation to the team. Now, since Nike sponsors Team USA, Brown is insinuating that Nike had a hand in the decision making of Kawhi Leonard's replacement. Now, Brown is a sneaker free agent, and over the course of the last 2 years, last two NBA seasons, he's called out Nike several different times, especially the brand's handling of Kyrie Irving's questioning in their care for ethics. Now, Brown has continued to wear Nike products, among others, but notably, he always removes the Nike branding and even customizes pairs to read "Just Do Better." All right, which is an obvious shot at Nike's slogan. So, listen, y'all, let's talk about this for a minute. Do you think there is any validity in Brown's claims of Nike keeping him off Team USA? I mean, what do you think? Do you think that they did it on purpose because of how he has spoken out in the past and how he obviously, uh, I would say, alters his sneakers? Um, and if so, are they right for doing so? So jump down in the chat and let me know exactly what you guys think. I for one think it's always more to a story. Obviously, we're going to get what's reported, um, and neither side will, necessarily go into the deeper depths of why something was chosen. If they choose to, fine, and we'll hear it directly from the source. But I think that he should have been picked over Kyrie? No, that's my opinion. If they were going to pick anybody, obviously they weren't. If they were a big sponsor of the Olympics and given their history with Kyrie, obviously he wasn't going to be picked. If that was the case, then perhaps Jalen Brown should have been up next. Um, excuse me. Tariq Hill gives his top five quarterbacks. So let's take a listen to what he has on his list.
Top five quarterbacks in the league: Patrick, Tua, Lamar, Dak, Baker Mayfield.
So a lot of people immediately jumped all down his throat and like said, "So you don't have Aaron Rodgers on your list?" Now this leads me to this, right? I really and they also got on his head, stepped on his neck about not having Joe Burrow on there as well. But here's my thing with all of these lists: best of all time, GOATs, greatest of all time, top five, running backs, top five receivers, top five QBs. We can even do it in basketball, point guards of all time, centers, whatever. Okay. It's all opinion based. All right. It's all opinion based. There can be factual data that can prove otherwise. Example, there was a list that said there was a question, excuse me, who is the greatest of all time in basketball based on number of rings. Everybody knows that I love, 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 love Jordan. And they immediately went to Jordan for the most rings. Okay, but see, here's where it gets opinion based because if we're going solely on that, then we have to throw Bill Russell in the conversation. I could care less if it was the ABA or whatever. He has 13 of them things. 13. He 10 plus three more fingers. What did Kendrick say? Five, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus five. Well, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus five plus another three. So do you see where I'm going with this? It is all opinion based. And a lot of people can't see around that. And they get into these wicked conversations and these wicked altercations online. You're wrong. You don't know sports. Or are you crazy? This is diabolical. Sidebar, I am sick and tired of hearing that word for the past 30 days. It's being misused all over the place. Anyway, all of these lists are opinion based. And in Tariq's opinion, those are his five top QBs. So who are these people to tell him that his list is trash because he doesn't have Rodgers or Joe Burrow on there? I mean, let's do this. Since we're talking about opinion based list, let's have a little fun with it. Let's do a a win is a win, top five QBs that you like. No judgment. This is a judgment free zone here. But let's jump in the chat and give me your five QBs right now or past in the NFL. And let's have a little bit of fun with it. Again, we're not jumping on anybody's head in here. And, some people take what these lists are scathingly personal. I mean, you would think that somebody's taking food out of somebody's mouth, taking money out of somebody's bank account with these lists. So let's have a little fun with it. Let's lighten up the mood. Let's have our own win is a win top five QB list. Are you searching for some new NFL gear? Well, go to drT23.site. That is DRT23.site. Click the NFL shop link there. Enter your code NFL30 to get 30% off of your purchase. Let's get back to the show. So DeMar DeRozan has signed with the Kings 3 years, 76 million. And some people think this was a Lakers snub. Now let's take a listen to what Shams had to say about this deal and how it went down.
Destination for the second straight free agency, he lands in a sign and trade. Miami Heat, from what I'm told, as far as DeMar DeRozan's next home, he really wanted to land in a competitive environment. And also, I'm told, wanted to go back west at the end of the day. And the Kings, they pushed the hardest, they pushed the fastest throughout free agency to get a deal done. They're a playoff contender, a team that's trying to get to the cusp of being a title contender. And I'm told Vivek Ranadive, the Kings owner, really clinched this in their in-person meeting over the weekend in Sacramento. The Lakers were bandied about. They have been over the last couple free agencies for DeMar DeRozan. But I'm told the Lakers never went beyond expressing just simple interest in DeRozan. There were no offers or tangible conversations with the Bulls on a sign and trade deal. So this is the second straight free agency where perception-wise, there is that thought. Would DeMar DeRozan have had to take less money in free agency? Was he going to have to take the mid-level exception to land at a destination? For the second straight free agency,
so it seems that a lot of people thought that this was a Lakers snub when, and then some people are spinning the narrative, well, he didn't want to go to the Lakers specifically. He didn't want to play with LeBron. There was the big, you know, Hollywood show of it all. And none of that was said by DeRozan, the Lakers, or any of that. Again, we have to get out of the personal feelings in the media about why certain deals happen. He simply just wanted to go back out west. And it seems that the Lakers just didn't make an offer and it wasn't anything much past the phone call. So sometimes things come into fruition the way that they are supposed to, whether it be, you know, I wouldn't say intentional sabotage or intentional uh, not signing of a player because we just, you know, we don't want you, we don't like you. Things just organically happen and they just didn't show any interest. So guess what he had to do? Move on. And that's exactly what he did. And that's just that. I'm kind of tired of that story already, and you know the narratives that are going behind it. Fans could eventually be able to purchase single team streaming packages after the NFL was found guilty in the Sunday ticket antitrust trial, which we touched on a few episodes ago. Now the NFL is being ordered to pay 4.7 billion to fans who paid for Sunday ticket and another, 96 million to bars who argued they were overcharged for streaming packages. Obviously, the league plans to appeal this decision. I, for one, already saw this messiness going on just with my own Sunday ticket. Here's why. Even if you go on YouTube TV, you have cable, I don't know, Cox Cable and Direct TV, whatever you have, and start off this month either free 30 days or first month $5. And every month after that for the season, listen to what I said, for the season is $55 instead of 79. So from week 1 to week 6 is 55. Boom. Week 7 is here and all of a sudden you get a ACH debit for $79. Hold on now. I didn't change anything. This is the same football I've been watching. So what's the difference? Okay, so then from Thanksgiving until New Year's, now it creeps up to $99. So I get what is happening, and especially in, you know, the bar situation. You have a full bar of people, you are paying for, you know, this feature so that people can, this brings in foot traffic. And so, in order for you to bring that in, you're going to have to pay for a subscription for sporting events so people can come in and sit down, have a couple drinks, eat, and watch it. And if you're being overcharged, well, hey, you got to be accountable for that and pay for it. But as we all know, the NFL is probably going to back up out of that as well. Speaking of the NFL, the new kickoff rule has some people beside themselves. I'll just say that. So let's take a listen to exactly how this is going to pop off.
So to incentivize that, touchbacks are much harsher to the kicking team. So let's break that down. If the kick doesn't reach the landing zone, the ball's placed at the 40-yard line. If it goes out of the end zone or flies into the end zone and is down, like a normal touchback, the ball will be placed at the 35. If it hits in the landing zone and then rolls into the end zone and is down, the ball will be placed at the 20. But again, this is all to incentivize them kicking it into the landing zone. And if it's caught in the landing zone, it must be returned. Now, what about onside kicks? Well, the actual kick will look the exact same. The only difference is the team has to declare it to the referee, who will then notify the receiving team, which means there's no more surprise onside kicks. So, do you think this rule change will be good for the league?
So that's a good question. Do you think that this new kickoff, and they've adapted this from the XFL? Um, some people say no. This is why the NFL is going backwards the way that it is. Um, some people are calling the rules stupid. And you could basically just say that there won't be, just tell them there won't be any more fair catches. I think that the surprise of the onside kick was something that was exciting. So the fact that you have to disclose that now, it's like reporting when you're on the field, 77 reporting, or, 10 reporting. It's like you have to report to the refs that there's going to be an onside kick, to which they're going to notify the other team. But Here's my question, and y'all feel free jump in the chat and let me know. But why not bag the kicker up about 10 yards to incentivize the return? That's my question. Just why not do that? What do y'all think? Jump down there in the chat, let me know. I mean, and of course, I mean now everybody that watches football doesn't understand football. Let's just be clear on that. So explaining this to some people is going to be a complete nightmare. Join me on DraftKings. Go to Dr. T23 site. That is DRT23 site. Go ahead and click join me on DraftKings and get your $200 bonus bet when you bet $5 instantly on DraftKings Sportsbook money lines, totals, and same game parlays. DraftKings has the action. All right, now we're gonna get into gone now because I have to. How did Kendrick said I field goal punt this one right out of here. Yeah, this one just took me. So we're gonna jump over into music for a second. A judge has mandated that 43-year-old New Orleans rapper BG, born Christopher Noel Dorsey, must have his upcoming songs reviewed and approved before release to ensure they align with his rehabilitation goals. Now, this order follows his arrest in March after performing with rapper Boosie in Las Vegas, which violated his supervised release terms on gun charges by associating himself with felons. Now, the ruling has sparked a broader discussion about the use of artistic expression in legal proceedings. Prosecutors argue that BG should not publicly promote lyrics that praise two men serving life sentences for multiple murders, deeming such content, quote unquote, inconsistent with the goals of his rehabilitation. However, BG's attorneys counter that the order is an, quote, unconstitutional restriction of free speech. Now, obviously, we know what's going on with Young Thug, and they're using his lyrics on trial against him in an array of other things. And in that trial, it's not just his lyrics; it was other things that took place. Now, in 2012, BG received a 14-year prison sentence after being found with 3 guns in his car, 2 of which were stolen. Now, according to The Guardian, BG must provide the government with copies of any songs he writes moving forward ahead of production or promotion to ensure the material is consistent with his rehabilitation goals. The ruling was issued on Friday by U.S. District Court Judge Susie Morgan. The order serves as a compromise with prosecutors who initially wanted the rapper completely barred from releasing any musical material that, quote, promotes and glorifies future gun violence and murder. Judge Morgan considered BG's need to financially support himself while under federal supervision upon his release. Now, in response to the YSL trial, Kevin Lyles, CEO of 300 Entertainment, told Revolt News that rap is the only music genre exactly scrutinized in this manner. Now, he highlighted that lyrics from rapper Young Thug are being used as evidence, fueling the debate on whether lyrics as a form of art should be admissible in court. Research shows that since the late 1980s, rap lyrics have been utilized in nearly 700 cases, often in criminal contexts, to charge suspects, secure indictments, compel plea bargains, and justify sentencing recommendation. The outcome of BG's case may set a significant precedent for how courts handle artistic content in the future. Here is where they can go now, because there are other genres. Do I think that you should promote killing and all of that? Absolutely not. But when I grew up, the type of rap that we listened to told stories about where these individuals came from because they didn't have an out. So if their out was talking about where they came from, they're not saying go do it. If you go back and listen to MC8, if you go back and listen to NWA, if you go back and listen to Ice-T, if you go back and listen to Biggie and Pac, and I could go on. But my point is this: Storytelling is an art form across all genres. We need to then start looking into heavy metal because that is dark. We can look into all genres of music if that's the case, and put all lyrics across all genres on trial, because handpicking rap specifically is unfair and it's unconstitutional, and it is another way to control freedom of speech. Should an artist be responsible for what they're laying down and what they're recording? Absolutely. But it is just not hip hop. It is just not rap. So be clear, this is an attack not only on a genre, but on a culture. And there are many people that imitate the culture. So if we're going to do that, then everybody needs to be lined up on the same platform, judged the same way by their peers, by the judges equally. Because as of today, there hasn't been. As of today, it is only rap artists. As of today, it is only hip hop. Because when you look at what people have done in the name of music, Ted Bundy was killing people. What music was he listening to? Marilyn Manson. His music is crazy. Charles Manson killed people. And what did they have? They had very heavy acid based heavy metal talking about killing, and then if you play this in reverse, this is the devil talking, and all of that. So is that okay? But when you listen to Jay-Z tell people that it's a hard knock life, and he's telling you what he went through to get better, you want to put that on trial. When you play Nas's New York State of Mind and he's telling a story about Queens and New York, you want to put that on trial? Gone now. It is too much control and a gun pointed, hypothetical gun pointed at a certain genre to scrutinize the music that has come from it, but everybody wants to benefit from it in some way, shape, and fashion. So let's go down the rabbit hole. Who do you think is approving this type of music? Who do you think is encouraging? No, they don't want to hear you talk about love and black power and black love and black unity, right? They don't want you to hear that. Common rapped about it. What happened? They don't want to hear that. They didn't want to hear fight the power. They didn't want to hear Queen Latifah say, who you calling a bitch, for women's empowerment. They wanted you to rap about what was going on in the projects, what was going on in the ghetto that they created for us. So when they're rapping about what's happening around them and telling stories, and the record label is making billions and billions and billions of dollars off of it, and they're not on trial, go on now. Go on. This can go, the rabbit hole can get a whole lot deeper. But on the surface, we're going to make the face of that rabbit hole pay for it. That's going to end it for this week's episode of A Win is a Win. Don't forget, y'all, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and you can now listen to us in Audible or wherever you get your podcast. Catch you next week.